through this gift of giving store, which basically we go to domestic abuse shelters and we create pop-up stores that are typically around Mother's Day. We did do one for the holidays, and we have the children buy gifts for their mothers, and the way they pay is with self-love.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Bar podcast. I'm your host, Denisa Tova. Today, we've got a mother and daughter duo who turn a kitchen disaster into creative business. But this is an extra special episode because Jacqueline Newman, the mom, she was my very first guest when I launched this podcast. Now she's back, but this time with her daughter, Alexandra, and she's a co-creator behind That's the Way the Muffin Crumbles. Together, they build this unique dessert brand that not only brings joy through their delicious muffin crumbles, but also supports the gift of giving store through their profits. And I cannot wait to dive in to find out how it all started and also how they balance family business without driving each other crazy. So let's get to it. Welcome, Jacqueline and Alexandra.
Hi, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
It's my pleasure. Was it a disaster? Just tell me how, let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
How did your business get started?
Sure, that's a great question. So in the height of COVID, everyone kind of had their baking phases, and I did mine. And I was really into baking muffins. So for my dad's birthday, I decided I was going to make him this beautiful array of Oreo muffins with matched with an Oreo whipped cream. And I put them in the oven and I was waiting and it dinged. I open it up and I figure out that it's imploded on itself. And I'm a total mess. I will admit, I was quite emotional. I was crying. I was like, what am I gonna do? I just made this whole breakfast for my dad, and now I don't have these great muffins that, Oreo's his favorite. And my mom, in a stroke of genius, trying to save the day, was like, why don't we crumble them? And I kind of was a little confused because that's never been done before. But she's like, yeah, it tastes good. Let's just crumble it and, maybe mix it with the whipped cream. And we did it and it tasted very, very good. And then, as things do in COVID, we totally forgot about it. And so then about 6 months ago, I had an assignment for my English class where I had to write about one external advice and one internal advice, one written advice and one non-written advice, like what's verbal.
Yeah.
And I had written about, for my non-spoken advice, about about how it created. And my teacher was like, that's a great idea. I think muffin crumbles could be the next big hit. So I sent it to my mom because, I wrote something nice about her. And my mom was like, let's do it. And the rest is history.
Yeah.
That sounds like such a unique idea. When I actually got to taste your flavor, it was the strawberry shortcake. And when it arrived, first I'm thinking, that's so unique. Muffin, crumbles, it just those two together. But when it arrived, first of all, I thought it arrived like the next day. And then the packaging, it was so cute. We opened it, me and my husband, and we took the first spoon. I mean, there were three, I think 3 containers, and it was something so unique. And so I'm just wondering, so from this first sort of, I guess you can call it a mess that turned into something super creative, how then did you continue to add new flavors? Because I've seen you have more flavors, and to think, this could actually become something, a business.
Sure. So we had, as my mom has a business, but it's nothing close to a dessert business. So we had taken on a consultant to kind of help us navigate through these uncharted territories. And we started looking at packaging and ingredients and what can be the least expensive, because, we have to be making this and how to ship things. And we learned a lot about the business that I've never even thought about before. And eventually we found our packaging, and then we started thinking about other flavors. And then we went to an industrial kitchen, and I learned how to transpose my one serving recipe to now 5 times, which is very interesting, something I've never done before, and having to play with different ovens. And then eventually we kind of piece it all together, and yeah. And then we also had to figure out a logo, which was a long, long feat. But we came up with what we have now, which we're very happy with.
How do you come up with new flavors?
So, I mean, I am definitely the one in the kitchen, the mostly figuring out new flavors. I I knew I wanted to do something with Oreo, and we actually, our initial one, we had a bunch of different flavors. We had like cinnamon and blueberry and a bunch of different ones. And then eventually we narrowed it down to 4 that we found were the most popular. We did surveys. I had my sister going around asking all my cousins and family, like, which one do you like best? Like, which one was this moist? Did you like it? And eventually we figured out that funfetti, s'mores, strawberry, and Oreo were the top 4. And then we're eventually going to expand. For right now, we're just kind of working with what we have.
Valentine's Day too.
We did do Valentine's Day, which was strawberry muffin crumble with chocolate whipped cream, which was very good.
That is brilliant. So you took this sort of accident and then you figured out, you know, this could actually be something, this could be a potentially business, but then to turn it into business, you have this other side of it that may not be as fun. And I heard you say we met with consultant and I had to learn about the, you know, industrial kitchen and measurements. And, you know, that has nothing to do with getting messy and tasting and coming out with the flavors. And you sound like you are just sort of embracing it. I mean, that's not easy.
Yes, it certainly is not, but having my mom on my side, helping me figure this out has been truly a blessing, and I'm very, very grateful for her.
Well, and your mom, Jacqueline, I mean, you are a powerhouse, you know, family lawyer. Uh, you know, how do you feel about being in a muffin crumble business?
I mean, I think it's really fun. As Alex said, I've never sold a product. As an attorney, we do services. But it's been such an interesting, experience for me. Like, again, learning a different market completely, learning how to market in a different market. One of the things that's been so nice, obviously, about this is creating something with my daughter. And the fact that, I love businesses as a whole. I'm very entrepreneurial in spirit. And, just little things, like I was explaining to her what an LLC is. And I was saying that, if you poison someone, no one's going to come take our house. That's called an LLC. So there's just lots of things that she's learning along the way, as am I. And we've worked with artists, as she said, we've worked with consultants. We've really been just kind of diving into her world we know so little about, or I know so little about. And, to watch also Alex, when we went to this industrial kitchen, she was downplaying it. She was working with a professional chef, and she's telling the chef how she wants it done. So they're working together on this. And, it was just a very proud moment to watch her in this huge, she's little, and to watch her in this enormous kitchen and, just kind of taking this and saying, no, I don't like the way that tastes. And I think it should be a little bit more this and a little bit more that. And I do not cook at all. So for me, it's just very impressive to watch her know, what works and what doesn't. And so far it's working.
Wow, Alex, somebody would be asking is, what's the most annoying thing your mom does as your business partner?
Ooh.
Let's see.
Don't hold back.
I would say sometimes hounding me or being like, oh, we gotta do this, we gotta do this. And I'm like, I just want to take a little nap, like, please. But yeah, I mean, we actually we have a very good relationship. So for the most part, there's very little fights over it. But there are a couple quarrels, I'll admit.
Yes.
Yeah, just like with every partnership. So tell me about this spirit of giving back through this idea, through this business.
Sure. So I have always wanted to create a program that empowers women. I've always wanted to actually go to children, like elementary schools, and teach them about female empowerment to kind of stop the stereotypes early, and also with guys too, to teach them that it's okay to cry and it's okay to experience emotions. And so through this gift of giving store, which basically we go to domestic abuse shelters and we create pop-up stores that are typically around Mother's Day. We did do one for the holidays, and we have the children buy gifts for their mothers, and the way they pay is with self-love, and it empowers both the children and the mothers, because it teaches the children that their parents are, the mothers are people too, but it also gets the mothers to understand like my kids are going to be all right, and it gives them also something to feel spoiled with, because sometimes they don't, they feel that they've been put down, and this uplifts them, and it's very empowers both sides, and I love it.
Wow, that's a dessert made with love. That's very
Yes.
powerful.
Thank you.
That's incredible. You are, from what I understand, Alex, you are quite active, like outside of this business. It's not like this is the only thing that you're involved in. What else do you have going on?
Sure. So I'm in a couple of honors classes. I'm in theater. I'm in a couple of honor societies. I work. I volunteer once a week as well.
At the domestic abuse
At the
shelter.
domestic abuse shelter, and I work with kids. Am I missing anything? I think that's it.
Yeah, she's busy. And then she hangs out with her friends and,
Yeah.
you know, does the
And
Yeah, I
typical.
was going to ask, what do you do for fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I read, bake. I'm on social media. I will
She
admit
is,
it.
yes.
But yeah.
So I've noticed you're on social media, and that's certainly one of the best ways to grow business. How has that been for you?
So I am actually, I've never posted before this. I've never had my face on social media. I've been quite active, but never my face. So this is definitely a new step of, embracing social media, embracing what it can do for our business, and really learning how to market, like, and what's going to be most appealing to all different ranges of audiences.
Yeah.
How that, and that's interesting. So before you post, like I heard you say even before, like when you're testing flavors, um, to see now, even with social media, you're sort of testing to see what will be appealing to the different audience, which is brilliant, by the way. You just don't have one strategy, one way of doing things. How are you doing that? Are you asking your friends to share their opinion, their feedback? How are you testing to see do you look at likes?
Yeah, so we originally were working with a consultant, but we kind of branched off and started to do our own. And of our friends have bought it. We'll then be like, please record you eating it, see how you like it, post on your story, tell your friends. And I've been doing a lot of word of mouth and telling everyone, like, please buy it. It's really good. I've been posting on my own stories. I've had my friends posting it. We've sent to influencers and they've been posting it. And it's kind of just learning how to work the ways of the business.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. And I will say, just to add to that for 1 second, the other thing that we're also doing, which we're hoping is going to be an interesting interactive angle, is we have something called the Muffin Crumble EQ. And I know that you and Glenn are on our website for this. So one of the things on the website, and we talk about how you eat your muffin crumble says something about your personality. And so again, as it is 3 containers and it's muffin crumble, it's cream and it's toppings, do you eat the cream first? Do you eat the crumble first? Do you mix 2 together? Like, how do you go about doing it? And so what we're asking people to do is when they eat their muffin crumble, to send us a picture of it and tell us, what kind of crumbler are you? Are you a classic crumbler? Are you a crumbler connoisseur? Are you a Zen crumbler? Like, there's all these different categories. And then we're posting pictures of people eating it with their category. And so the hope is that we're going to get an interactive audience. People like to have their names, and be on a website, and it's fun. And we also have like a matching, who goes with who? Do Zen crumblers go with the Muffin Maestro? Like, who's the good match? And so again, I think making that type of thing interactive is hopefully going to be an attractive thing on social media when it catches on more.
I think that's brilliant. I don't know if you have a category. I ripped up the box and then we were fighting over who takes the last, what's remaining. But that was really great. Like I said, I was very impressed, didn't know what to expect, loved the packaging. And the flavor was great. And then, like you said, the test. And that was just a fun thing to do. It was, yeah, that there's just, and it wouldn't surprise me if you had more ideas, how to expand this even more. What are the plans for this?
So
characters.
Sure. So we actually have a couple here, and you can see we have our strawberry and we created characters. And we're hoping to continue when we make new flavors, introduce these new characters, and then, yeah.
I have one more.
Yeah.
Our confetti. And they all have names and they're all like little characters. So the idea being that you can, go ahead, Alex, you want to explain that? Tell everybody's name.
Yes. So that we can create this line and have people be able to relate, and then we're going to hopefully, maybe create like a line of like, oh, Freddie Funfetti goes to blank, and then goes to school, and yeah, Mom, you want to take over?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, we were talking about whether we'd want to make even like little stuffed animals and little caricatures, and if we can get that being something that people can identify with, like I was saying to Alex about school, take one of the little characters and be like, oh, so bored, and Freddie Fanfetti is so bored in school today. Things that you can kind of make them something that people can connect to. Some of the feedback we've gotten is people have really liked, especially the children have really liked the characters. And so, someone told me that their daughter was like sleeping with the box because they felt very connected to the character, which is adorable. And, I mean, the hope is to also make this, we have on our website, not only do we have snack packs, which we actually have here, we could show you, but we also have, we're doing like gift party sets. So if somebody wants to have a party, like a sleepover or whatever it is, they can be serving up 8. And we have like the double thing so people can make it themselves and they can do that type of basically party and make it like fun, and we're make it all decorative and cute and pretty. And then ultimately, I would say if this really was able to take off, we've talked about doing kind of a brick and mortar type store where think of like, a yogurt store. If you go into a yogurt store and you pick your flavors and you can put your toppings on and you can put your creams on. I think that could be a really fun thing. And we could obviously have various flavors, and again, just from a business perspective, one of the things that was very attractive about this, and again, I'm one of those people, like I'm the business she's the creative, I'm the business. And so,
I can tell.
Yeah. And so one of the things I looked at when we're really figuring out how could this be a profitable business is that the ingredients are actually not particularly expensive. It's the labor, which right now I'm getting very cheap because it's her, but conceptually, and you don't even need somebody who would be, for a baker on this, bakers generally spend a lot of money, spend a lot of time, and they craft beautiful things. And so therefore that's where, a lot of the expertise comes in. For us, we're crumbling it. So we don't need somebody who has these like, can make a beautiful, beautiful cake. We're like, no, we're going to basically ruin whatever it is you do anyway. So we're going to crumble it. It's ultimately not particularly expensive. As I said, the ingredients can stay for a long time. So from a pure business perspective, once we can get this out there more, I think it can really be profitable. And the goal is to get on Shark Tank, and I want Alex to present. So that's our ultimate goal.
And to add on to the brick and mortar, I've actually done a couple of those where at Gift to Gifting, we had Muffin Crumbles sponsor, and I was the one behind the table serving it, and it was very, very fun. I saw people learn they're mixing different flavors that I never would have thought to mix before. Sometimes went traditional, but a lot of times they just went off the hook, and it was really great to see everyone's creative minds be put to work.
Yeah, that is brilliant. And Jacqueline, this is funny when you mentioned maybe stuffed animals and then adding to it, because as I'm looking at the packaging, it is so cute. I mean, it was one of those things you wanted to cut out and just like hug it, and we all have childlike parts in all of us, and just sort of reconnecting to it. I think just all around positive and just sweet with a great cause. And I think the interactive piece makes a lot of sense. People want to stay engaged, and I think that's a great way to engage on social media. Come and be part of this experience, this adventure, and I love it. Yeah, and then having actually for sleepovers, having basically this whole set where for birthdays or different events, you can have a small group of kids putting it together, or adults. There may be a version for adults, like a coffee flavor or something. Yeah, this is
We're also doing, sorry, go ahead.
This is really great. So if you could collaborate with a celebrity to create a new flavor, who would that be?
Oh, good question.
Probably Sabrina Carpenter. Short and sweet. I can just see it now.
I'd leave that to her.
Yes, yes. Well, you know what? You manifesting it and it will happen.
Right.
It
Yeah,
will
and we also do
definitely happen.
we do favors too. So we do favors, and so we're big Broadway people, and we recently just did a snack pack that was Broadway themed. And actually I have it here, but we did things like, here, you want to show it? We had like Dear Evan Hansen, what was it called? I forgot even what the name of it was. What was it?
Love it.
Yeah, You Will Be Funfetti and Waving Through Muffin Crumble and just like fun things like that. But we also were able to make it, we could do bar mitzvahs, we could do sweet 16s, we can do engagement parties. Like we can do it in all different types of things where we can, for my firm, we actually had Muffin Crumbles loves BB&S and we did a whole thing. But these are like,
inside.
yeah, so it's all sparkly and pretty. But yeah.
So logistically, if you were to sort of cater, I don't know, someone's, sweet 16 from the beginning, from the beginning to the execution, what is involved?
So a lot of it is the labor element. If I actually did my sister's prom and there were certain colors choices that she wanted, so I had to learn like what colors would be best for which flavors. And it's a lot of labor that goes into it. Mostly it's me. I sometimes have my friends come and help me with the little stuff that they can. My mom definitely does help with the cleaning. And it's usually I take a couple of days of prep. We'll freeze things, and yeah, and then it's usually presentation. But a lot of times when it's a big party, we do the more brick and mortar, have it set up, and they can serve themselves. And I mean, every time we've done it, it's been a success. So hopefully we could do it more.
Yes, this is super, super exciting. What do your friends say, Alex? Do they want to be part of it?
I mean, everyone who has tried it, they've loved it very, very much. I've actually taken some feedback in the very beginning. My strawberry was too strong, and they would say that. And so I've learned to reduce it. And I mean, everyone who's tried it loved it. I've had friends who are like, "Can I just get one more for free?" And and everyone's very happy to promote it because they say it tastes very, very good. I did it for my sweet 16, and I had people putting on their stories in the very, very beginning before we even launched it, saying this is amazing, you should get it. And I still have friends who, if I ever mention my business, like, oh my gosh, I devoured that thing on the way home. Like they'll still bring it up like, a year later, which is really fun.
Oh, this is great. I mean, I know this is just the beginning. Well, ladies, this has been amazing. Now, listen, Alex, I know you will be on a Shark Tank. Just make sure that you have all the numbers memorized. Mr. Wonderful, he likes to know that then
She'll
you
be
understand. Yeah. So, no, this is great. Well, listen, Alex, I do have a question for you. If you've been through quite the journey, to take it from sort of this mess to an idea, a project, to really a functional business. Like right now, it really what you're putting into it. If somebody is thinking about an idea, what would be your advice to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I would say go for it and really, put the energy and find a partner that you you trust, and that, maybe have their strengths where your weaknesses and your weaknesses are their strengths. And I would really say promote social media, get your voice out there. And also, if you can, get the professional help to really help you navigate. But in all, I just say, all your dreams, go for it. As cliche that is.
That's important. Don't give up, right? And I
Yeah.
would imagine it's what I'm also sensing, many people are afraid of rejection and hearing no and putting themselves out there. And I heard you say, I work the table. I talk to people. You're interacting. I think it's easier on social media because there's a layer, right, between you and the world. But to stand somewhere and describe to people what it is that you have and to connect with people, that's not easy. So, that's, I think right there, I believe it will make you hugely successful,
Thank you.
and you should be proud of yourself.
Thank you very much.
Well, any parting thoughts, Jacqueline?
I would say to moms out there, it's a nice, interesting opportunity to be able to engage with something, like this with your child, and to really kind of take the skill sets that you have and, be able to pass it on to them in something that they can relate to. I think that's been a really nice, I do have a passion for business, and I think if we were, just selling Excel charts, she wouldn't be interested. But since I was able to find something that she liked and something I was able to kind of take my part to as well, and being that I can't cook, it really is the minus plus, her minus my plus, or vice versa, or whatever it may be. So yeah, I think it's just been a really nice mother-daughter experience. And, when she goes off to college, we'll see what happens with it. And I hope it will keep us connected, even in that, beyond the fact I like to think we'd be connected anyway. But, it gives us something to talk about that is just, it's exciting and it's interesting. And when somebody, when something happens with it, I'm like running to go share it with her. And that's just such a rare, nice thing to be able to experience, especially with a teenage daughter. So I would recommend it to all moms out there, and dads and parents and people that want to stay connected to their kids in this social media world.
Well, thank you. It's been such a pleasure having you here, and I am officially hungry. And, I thank you so much for hanging out and sharing your story. And to our viewers and listeners, be sure to follow both of you on social media. I know we have the links posted below, and you're constantly pushing new flavors, and it's really, the sky's the limit for you. And also to our viewers and listeners, don't forget to hit subscribe on our YouTube channel, Beyond the Bar Podcast. And until next time, stay curious and stay inspired.